So in continuation with the previous video on problems of 20 problems of democracy in India, the second video is to be based on the 20 must-dos for Indian democracy. So what could be the 20 must-dos for Indian democracy? So before we venture on to decide what should be the 20 must-dos for Indian democracy, first we need to determine the some mega goals, mega objectives of India as a society, or India as a civilization, or India as an economy, so that democracy should not serve the interest of democracy itself. So enough of democracy for the sake of democracy. It was not to be, democracy was not meant to be the goal in itself. It had to be, it had to be a means. And that is the reason why when the democracy was launched after independence in 1950s, so it was said socialism was the goal and democracy was the means. But since the goals of socialism couldn't be realized and socialism world over failed, that is why we need to reinvent the new objectives. And for those mega objectives, democracy has used as a tool or a vehicle or a process or a mechanism. Democracy cannot be and should not be the goal or the end in itself. So you must be clear, democracy is not the end in itself. How hard, how so hard the leftist and the left liberals tried to convince us, or rather to impose on us, that democracy is the end in itself, we must not allow ourselves to be trapped or entrapped by these useless people, or and the people who don't have any objective in their idea of the life. Okay, so how to determine what are the 20 uncompromisable objectives for India as a society and as a civilization? So it must be clear that we are neither China, nor we can become, or nor we should try to be the copy of West. We have had our own genius, means we had our own history, and we had our own destiny. So we should try to build on our own history and our own destiny. So India is and has to be different from China and from West, and for also different from the Islamic world. So there are four mega models of the world system. So one is European, second is Chinese, and when I say European, it's also American and Islamic and African, and then Indians. So we have seen in past the problems of Western civilizational model. We have seen the cruelties in Islamic model also, and we have seen the problems in African model also. So one civilization that has the natural potential to integrate the best of all, the best of West, the best of Chinese, the best of Islamic, and the best of African. That can be summarized as integration, what we have always called, but popularized by Swami Vivekananda, Navya Vedanta, integration of matter and spirituality or spirit, Navya Vedanta, Naiva or Neo Advaita. So India represents the potential of perfect integration of science technology on the one hand and spirituality on the other hand. If there is one civilization can that can perfectly integrate this two greatest potentialities for humankind, that is India, science and spirituality. So India has to build on this. So for this is a one mega goal, and then we need to derive other mega goals from this mega goal. For that, first we need to ensure that there is no political instability, because all kinds of instabilities are coming from or are the result of political instability. So growth doesn't happen despite our commitment, despite our models, because of political instability. So only a 20-year of uninterrupted political continuity and stability can make us a $30 trillion economy, which again is not an objective in itself. It's again a medium. It's a medium. It's a means. So unlike Europe, where GDP or economy or Artha itself is considered as a objective, but in our understanding, howsoever strong or large economy we do have, we are not going to take it as, we are not going to accept it as the final goal of life. So for us, it is a medium. So what is our final goal? Dharma. Artha is a medium for reaching dharma, and dharma means a perfect, ideal life. So for that, political stability for 20 years uninterrupted is a minimum requirement, both at center and state. We, because of democracy, have become the victim of frequent election, polarizing us, dividing us, weakening us, robbing us of our own potentialities, depriving us of our energy and resources. We need to, as soon as possible, adopt one nation, one election, starting from as early as possible, but latest by 2029. It will give us economic stability, political stability, freedom from inflation. It will create immense employment. It will save us from all kinds of economic uncertainties and economic losses. So it should not be confused that one nation, one election is some kind of political loss or loss of democracy. Rather, its economic gains are so immense that all kinds of so-called loss of democracy will be doubly, triply, multiply compensated. It is here that we need to make a balance between the political democracy and economic democracy. If we want the super economic democracy, then at least this much political compromise is very much needed. And this compromise, this is rather a wisdom, a wise decision. Instead of forcing ourselves into repeated election every year, year after year, we need to we need to unleash the potential that we have in our uh, the potential energy that we are wasting into elections, and we need to save that energy. We need to transfer that energy to some other areas on economic fronts. So one nation, one election is not only a political not only a political transformation, but more an economic transformation, rather an essential condition for India's mega economic transformation from $4 trillion towards $30 trillion economy. Plus, as I said, 20 years continuity of policies. Continuity of policy for 2 decades is again a minimum requirement, both at central and state level. Whatever price we have to pay in terms of political democracy, we must be mentally prepared. We shall pay the price. But for 20 years, but for 2 decades, we are not going to afford, not going to allow any kind of political instability, because we are committed now to economic democracy. And when economic democracy comes, then it will make us global leader. What some people call it, sometimes derogatorily, Vishwa Guru. So if the India's launch as a Vishwa Guru will start from $30 trillion economy, that will happen after 2 decades. But for this coming 2 decades, we need political stability both at center and state. And for that, one nation, one election. No policy paralysis. Now, India cannot afford any policy paralysis. The policies which we have adopted, if continued consistently, they are enough to make us $30 trillion economy. Next, we need to work on North-South integration. That is possible again through economic building economic powerhouse. If North balances itself through economy, like if UP emerges at first $1 trillion economy and then later $2 trillion economy, then it will take 5 years to make UP as a $5 trillion economy. The North-South economic balance is permanently established. And then we will focus on cultural integration, civilizational integration, which are already there in our historical roots. We need to plant it into our present to build a strong future. So integrating North and South across past, present and future. Then new model of secularism we need to establish and develop. And that unhesitatingly I must tell, the India's genius lies in Hindutva model of secularism, which means the most liberal way of life cultivated through 5,000 years of history is Hindutva. It is only under Hindutva that Jainism, Buddhism, and all kind of denominational identities within Hinduism like Shaivism, Vaishnavism, Shaktism, etc. and now later on in 11th century Islam and then later on Christianity and Sikhism, they all can live within an liberal, tolerant ecosystem, inclusive, accommodative, space giving uh, ecosystem. That ecosystem on earth is only one, and that is Hindutva. If Islam can say that yes, we are also accommodative, then of course we can follow Islam also. But Islam has to declare, can Islam build an ecosystem within which all the religions can live peacefully? I doubt it, and many like me will die. The whole world is doubting because Islam says we are exclusivists. It says that you have to change yourself, you have to convert. So you have to give up your religion to exist within Islam, and that's why Islam fails to provide that liberal, tolerant ecosystem within which other religions and other civilizations could coexist. So that possibility, potentiality is only within Hinduism, where all can co-live, co-prosper, co-develop, co-evolve. That ecosystem is possible not even under Christianity, it's only under Hindutva. And it has been proven from the last thousands of years of history, where thousands, hundreds, and dozens of religions and sects and denominations have co-prospered and co-evolved. And then next we need to develop again a different 21st century variant of socialism, because we cannot solely depend on Western capitalism. Uh, we have of course seen many advantages of capitalism, but of course we have also seen the problems of the greedy capitalism that West has developed. So to balance the problems of crony capitalism carrying the values of decadent European way of life, we need to develop a Hindutva model of socialism. So, like Hindutva secularism, next Hindutva socialism, where enterprise, entrepreneurialism, leadership, risk taking ability are balanced with the civilizational objectives. on the value of त्वदीयं वस्तु गोविंदम तुभ्यमेव समर्पये त्वदीयं वस्तु गोविंदम तुभ्यमेव समर्पये. एक इंडिविजुअल अर्न करेगा, रिस्क लेगा, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप करेगा, स्टार्टअप करेगा, बिलियनियर ट्रिलियनियर बनेगा, बट त्वदीयं वस्तु गोविंदम तुभ्यमेव समर्पये, with the spirit of samarpayami to the civilization. All my wealth is for my civilization. All wealth which I have generated through my sweat and blood is not for me. I am not going to take it with me. I am not going to individually consume it. I am going to submit it to the civilization for future generations. Todiyam vastu govindam tubhyameva samarpaya. Generation of infinite wealth for the welfare of infinite generations. Hindutva socialism. So, like Hindutva secularism, I propose Hindutva socialism. In next videos, I will further give the details of Hindutva secularism and Hindutva socialism also. So I dare say that secularism and socialism are needed, yet they are needed on the framework and the lines of and the spirit of Hindutva foundation, civilizational foundation. Dharma has to be the foundation of our economy. Dharma as the foundation of economy, where it will again balance the excessive materialism with core spiritualism. Without dharma, we cannot balance excessive consumerism with the core and vital spirituality. Dharma will be both the end as well as the medium. It is the way of generating wealth also, and for the purpose of dharma. Generation of wealth for the purpose of material satisfaction and spiritual satisfaction. So one model we have recently built, and we have seen what dharma can do to us. The city of Ayodhya is a new invention on planet Earth. How dharma can build an altogether new model of economy, which includes both the best of materialistic model of economy generated by West and India's genius of spirituality. The Ayodhya is a model. It's not only a place of worship. It's a model of economy. It's a model of civilization. We need to develop many more cities like Ayodhya. We need, in fact, to build the entire economic foundation on Ayodhya model. However, we can have different models of cities, like we have Mumbai, we have Hyderabad, we have Chennai, we have Bangalore, but we also need to have Ayodhya model or Kasi model, Dwarka model of cities, which can build not only infinite but sustainable economic growth. Infinite and sustainable. Sustainable and infinite. And of course, we have not to be second to anyone in the development of science and technology, and especially now it is clear that AI is the front of technological growth. India must utilize its best potential available for the development of artificial intelligence, for taking India to the leadership role to science and technology. And the next, we need also to take into confidence other civilizations. We need not develop the confrontationist approach to either of the civilization, whether it is Chinese civilization, Western civilization, or Islamic civilization. We don't have any problem with African civilization, but we need to take into confidence the Islamic world also, that we wish only one thing. We want Islam and other all to coexist peacefully. Only this much. If you could do it, then we are ready to accept your leadership in the area where you can provide the leadership. But please, Islam needs to tell to the whole world what is it going to offer to the world? What best it has to offer to the world? Overall, the way we have engaged with Saudi Arabia and West Asia overall under the leadership of Modi, we need to increase and enhance this engagement to build the confidence that Hindutva is not an enemy or a confrontation with Islam, rather it's complementary. We want co-prosperity, co-evolution to a common destiny of humanity. And similarly, we need to take West also into confidence that your achievements are asset to us, but we need not take it to any destructive path. We need to complement our achievement with yours, with the integration of science, technology, humanity, and spirituality. So there are many areas where Europe needs to be convinced that you have many achievements, but there are many limitations also of your achievement. For example, destruction of society, destruction of family, destruction of human values. This is the point where Europe needs to be told that there is there is a limitation of your achievement. Your achievements are limited to certain areas in material aspect of life, but as a collective human life, you lack in other dimensions of humanity. Please let us join hands together to take humanity to a common, desirable, and ideal destination. With these goals, mega goals set, now we can make best use of democracy. So democracy has to be used as a vehicle and not as an end in itself, so that these 20 mega goals are realized. I will continue giving the details of these goals, for example, Hindutva socialism and Hindutva secularism. That's all for this video.